how do people actually transition into becoming who they want to be when they first open those doors?
Honestly, it's all the work ethic. This is a 50-50 relationship. I can teach you, but you have to do it.
What are some of those misconceptions that you hear about?
The flexibility being the main thing. I was told when I was 7 years old that I would never be a dancer because I was built all wrong. These misconceptions still exist today, unfortunately, but flexibility is a skill, and a skill can be taught.
Welcome to the Best of White Rock, where we sit down with the standout business owners, community leaders, and entrepreneurs shaping life here in White Rock and South Surrey for the better. These are their stories behind the people driving real change in our community. Hosted by me, Darren German of the German Group.
So we have one of the OGs of the dance community in the office today, ready to tell us all about what's going on in the community of dance and all the awesome things that your business has done for the community of White Rock. So what I would love for you to do is introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are.
Yeah, well, my name is Amadea. I'm the owner and artistic director of XBa Centre of Dance.
And what is XBa Centre of Dance?
So XBa has been on the peninsula since 2000. So we are celebrating our 26th year of business.
A little bit of longevity.
A little bit, yeah. And we are the only dance school in Western Canada to offer the International Certification in Dance Studies, which is awarded by UNESCO's International Dance Council.
So what does that all mean? If I'm someone who is new to the dance world, what is that certification? What does that all mean?
So the international certification is on the same level as any RAD examinations with ballet or AIDT jazz testing with the style of jazz. Because it's awarded by UNESCO's International Dance Council, studios have to be nominated or gifted memberships. And we were lucky enough to be gifted a membership in 2011 based on our previous experiences with dancers and in the dance community.
Oh, wow. So and that's a pretty prestigious thing then.
It was a big deal, yeah.
Yeah. And is that something that is common amongst like dance studios in the community? Or?
Not usually, because you do have to be nominated by another member. What makes our nomination so special was it was done by the president of the International Council, Dr. Alkis Raftkis. Greek name.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's an incredible credential. So that's really cool to have. Now, what is XBa? I want to make sure I'm saying that right. XBa.
Yes, XBa.
Okay.
Yeah, we were one of the original acronyms. It stands for Extreme Ballet.
Extreme Ballet.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm thinking of like jumping through hoops of fire and stuff. So what is
no,
what is
nothing like
ballet?
that. So when my mom started the business, she was hired by skating rinks to make their skaters look more like dancers on the ice.
She was hired by skating rinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she has a background in dance, danced all of her life, got her degree from SFU in dance. And when we moved to the area in 1999, we were chatting to our neighbors, and it all came about that way. And turns out she was a member of her daughter's ice club board. And that's how my mom got started. And she was teaching them Pilates and ballet classes at their ice rinks in their off-ice centers. And the name XBa came about because she was teaching, or twofold, she was teaching ballet to current music, not to anything classical or anything like that. So the kids really liked it because they got to do their ballet moves to like pop music and rock music and everything that was like cool at the time.
Yeah.
And the acronym XBa, she wanted to originally call it Extreme Ballet. But she had a male student who told her that he already got beat up enough by being a male figure skater, and that if he walked around in a shirt that said ballet on it, that would kind of not be okay. Yeah. So that's how they came up with XBa. It's a shortened version. So X for extreme, and then BA for ballet, XBa.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what makes it extreme compared to normal ballet?
Yeah. So normal ballet is beautiful. My lifelong dream was to be a ballerina. And normal ballet it's very powerful, but it has that gentleness to it.
Okay.
Whereas extreme ballet, what we do is just crank it up a little bit. So traditionally there were a lot of moves that were only for male dancers or only for female ballet dancers. And it was my mom's idea to say, why? Why not? Why not we do the male moves? Why not the males do the female moves? And we created this kind of breed of very strong, very disciplined dancer that is extremely powerful and can do both sorts of gendered movements.
Oh, interesting. So it
Yeah.
was kind of divided up into genders for what they would do or what roles they might play in a presentation, or I don't even know if I'm saying that.
Yeah,
right.
so it's more like the actual like technique, like the moves that we do. So there's certain moves that were only specifically for the male ballet dancers. The female ballet dancers were never taught how to do that. And my mom, the whole thing was like, well, why not? You know? And it kind of grew from there.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So you use the word gentle for regular ballet.
Yes.
What would be a good way of describing what happens at XBa, the extreme ballet?
Yeah. Well, we're very loud.
Loud. Okay.
Loud.
What do you mean by
and
loud?
Loud music, loud expressions. Ballet dancers are beautiful and they're taught to be serene and, you know, calm and all this. Whereas XBa, we kind of take it to the extreme level and we put on productions and we use big costumes and big facial expressions and lots of loud music and different types of music too. Our shows are not traditional dance recitals where you would go in and sit and watch your kids dance and then everyone would clap and then here's the next one. We actually put on shows that are like going to watch a movie or going to see a play. You know, it's a storyline and everyone's involved.
Yeah, it sounds like, depending on what somebody wants, but that gentleness of regular ballet, what you're describing sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun. Yeah.
So who's attracted to that? Is it mostly younger people, or what's the sort of audience that enjoys it?
So we have a wide range. So this past show, we went from ages 5 to 55. And then next season, we're kind of streamlining it a little bit. We're starting them at age 8 and going up to adult. But our classes and programs are so popular amongst all ages. Our big thing too at XBa is that we take in a lot of underdogs.
What do you mean by underdogs?
So usually other dance studios, unless you start right when you're 4 or 5 years old, if you want to start, say, when you're 13, you would usually not be placed in a class with regular 13-year-olds who've danced before. You'd be placed in a class that's a little bit younger. So what we do is we welcome anyone and everyone at our studio, regardless of their previous experience. And we teach, it's kind of like a Montessori system, where we teach everyone together. And if there's students in there who need more, our teachers know to push those students more. If there's students that need a little bit less, then they're given a little bit less. But everyone is together, learning together.
Oh, that's so interesting. And does that environment offer, I'm assuming the people that come in, and your 13-year-old as an example, they're showing up and they're kind of new to the sport, or we would call it a sport or like an art?
Dance is an art. We argue that dance is an art form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually thinking, I was thinking art and thought sport maybe was a better way. I wasn't sure, but so someone comes in and they're interested in getting in this. What are the advantages into going in with a class of people that are clearly talented, have been doing it a long time? Do you find that helps push people or help them develop quicker?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. And it also really helps too that our core group of students who've been with the studio for a long time are extremely friendly too, and it's not an exclusionary environment.
Yeah.
You know, everyone is welcome here as long as you're willing to work hard and put in the effort, you know, then absolutely we can teach you how to dance.
Is it something that's somewhat maybe like physically demanding in terms of like the pace and even maybe the movement and that sort of thing? Like...
Yes, absolutely. Definitely by level. So obviously my senior level classes, so for the teenagers, those are more demanding than the junior level classes. Sure. But all of especially my contemporary classes start with a Pilates-based mat workout to develop their core strength, because if they don't have a strong core, then kind of don't really have anything. Everything starts from your core.
Okay.
And then everyone is taught at the same pace, same level. If there's someone who is maybe struggling a little bit, maybe not quite getting it, that's why there's assistants in place or really highly educated teachers who know what they're doing and who know how to challenge without overwhelming the student as well. Because if a student gets overwhelmed, especially teenagers these days, then the tendency is to stop.
Right.
You know, rather than push through.
Yeah, and you want to encourage them to participate and to enjoy it, because that's why they showed up in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. So we don't want to push them away by making things seem impossible.
Yeah.
You know, little steps, little goals, celebrating the achievements, and it's all about encouragement.
What is it? And so those little achievements, like what does that pathway look like? So if someone shows up, it's their first time, and they're probably a little anxious to join a class
absolutely.
with these other people.
Yeah.
What does that pathway look for, and what sort of outcomes are they typically looking for? Are they there to just get exercise? Are they there to try something new? And there could be a variety of things. But what do you find most people are attracted to it, and how they end up there?
I think especially with, if it's a teenager, it would be more the artistic expression and the freedom and creativity and all of that. If it's a little bit younger student, then definitely the parents are looking for some exercise for the kids, which is great. We all need it. So it's a bit of both, honestly. It really depends on the student too.
Does it attract people just outside of like teenagers and people younger than that?
Yes, yeah. We have a lot of adult students too. A lot of former competitive dancers who had to stop dancing because of, life. And they come back to dance and with this like reinvigorated passion for it. And those are actually my favorite classes to teach because you can tell they actually want to be there. Okay. They're spending their own money to be there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, the adults are great. Whether they've never taken a dance class before or, like I said, are former competitive, it's that need, that want to have that artistic expression in their lives.
Yeah, well, that's so, and I know you've had some pretty high level local athletes that have come through your program in the past. And sorry, I don't know if program's the right word for it.
No, program, totally
been
fine.
Part of the community or however we want to describe it. But you've had some really impressive people
that
have been products of XBa.
Yes. So our most famous alumnus is Lisa Roman. She started as a figure skater and working with my mom at her ice rink and eventually came over to our studio.
Oh, she's like part of the whole transition.
Oh, yeah. She was one of the OGs for sure.
Yeah.
And she got into University of Washington and was scouted by the rowing team just because of her build. She was 5'10", really muscly and big girl and just looked like Wonder Woman, and she got scouted for the rowing team. She competed at Rio 2016 in women's 8 rowing. They placed 4th, but in Tokyo 2020, women's 8 rowing got gold.
That's amazing.
For Team Canada.
Wow.
So yeah, she's definitely a big inspiration too. And whenever she comes by the studio too, you can see like the girls of all ages, their eyes just kind of open up a little bit wider and they're like, whoa, seeing a real life Olympian coming from their home studio.
Yeah, what a cool experience to have somebody like that that's been through the program. What when people are considering getting involved with this sort of thing, there's probably a lot of misconceptions that they have about whether they're even physically capable. So I think ballet, and we've all got these images in our mind.
Of course.
I am not flexible. I know that, and I'm sure I'm assuming anyways that's a big piece of it. But I'm sure there's a lot of misconceptions that people have. What are some of those misconceptions that you hear about?
Yeah, absolutely. The flexibility being the main thing. Still to this day, I was told when I was 7 years old that I would never be a dancer because I was built all wrong. Just because I was 7 and I didn't have my splits. And that still, these misconceptions still exist today, unfortunately. But flexibility is a skill, and a skill can be taught.
Right.
There are some girls, even some guys out there who are naturally flexible. And it's great. It's just how they were built, regardless if they pursue dance or not. But I find that the ones who have to work for it, whatever it is, whatever it's flexibility or core strength or anything like that, they're the ones who stick around because they know what it's like to put in that work.
Yeah, well, and nothing is, or some things maybe are handed to some people. Like there might be natural talents and whatnot,
Absolutely.
but I love that you position it as a skill because it can be learned, it can be taught, and people can receive it. And with anything great in life, most of us aren't blessed that we have this easy pathway to have these gifts and talents. We have to learn them, we have to practice them, we have to invest in them.
And we can become really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what does that look like in terms of, I want to become this incredible dancer with XBa? What does that time investment and that commitment look like? Like how do people actually transition into becoming who they want to be when they first show up at those doors.
Yeah, honestly, it's all work ethic. You know, I like to say to my students that this is a 50-50 relationship. You know, I can teach you, but you have to do it. You know, I can't physically grab your arm and make you move, make you dance, right? So I'm here, I'm putting in my time, my effort into you, and you have to meet me there, and then we have a good working relationship, and then you will see progress, right? It's that if you have, let's say, I don't want to say bad, but if you have a student who's unwilling to put in the effort, or vice versa, a teacher who is unwilling to put in the effort, you know, that's when I think there's a lot of friction in the dance world, and a lot of people end up losing their love for it and stuff. I think dance can be and is such an inclusionary form of art all around the world, and you just need that good support in your life, you know?
Yeah, and is that the biggest chasm that you see, is the people who are committed to wanting to be better and willing to put in the time? Is that the biggest difference you see between those that maybe stick with it or get the outcomes they're looking for?
Yeah. I really agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. But you talked a little bit about, you know, being an art form, and it's an art form that so many people wish not only that they could do, but they could experience, they could be good at, that sort of thing. What are some of the challenges you see with people being able to even participate in, you know, dance? It's an elective, right? It's,
of course.
As is art, as is music, as is anything like that.
Yeah.
What are some of the struggles that you normally see about people actually being able to even come and participate in something like that?
Yeah, we position it, it's an after-school activity, right? Like you said, and it's an elective.
Yeah.
The main thing is time, because we all lead such busy lives, you know. Most families nowadays are like 2-income households. And so it's just the time of getting their kids to other activities, right? And then also the financial commitment, because it is a financial commitment as well.
Yeah, and as is everything.
Yep.
I mean, you know, we've got young kids that are in dance and hockey and softball, and my gosh, like, you know, but
the list goes on.
The list goes on. But such is life, right? Like,
Yeah.
But you know, the point of for them is to go learn about working together with a team.
Exactly.
Hard work, learning to persevere, learning that you can improve and get better at something.
Yeah.
And those are such incredible skills that you can pass on to your kids.
Yes. Yeah. And the way my brother and I were raised is that up until 13, up until we got into high school, that you can try anything you want. But then when you're 13, if there's something you really want to be serious about, you focus on that. And that's the commitment.
Yeah, I love. Well, I'm going to receive that as a parent and start thinking about that too. And
Yeah.
The one day where I don't have to drive to all these different sports commitments, we can narrow it down to a few, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think is a holdup that a lot of people maybe don't try dance? I know, like, so I'm going to give you my lens on it.
Yes.
All right, and I'm sure this is a very common one. I'm thinking I am a guy who is completely misaligned with how my brain communicates with my body.
Okay.
You know, I am clumsy. I'm embarrassed. I think about when people are, you go to a wedding as an example, and or even, you know, in high school, you're the one up with your back against the wall.
The dances.
Heaven forbid you would jump into the middle and have someone look at you. What are some of the misconceptions or hangups that you find a lot of people have?
Yeah, so those feelings and stuff, they're very common with adults who have never danced before. So I see that all the time. But if they're in an environment where everyone feels like that, then it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, I love that. What, explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, so for example, like we offer beginner level adult classes in contemporary. So this year I had a whole bunch of adults that have never danced before. Whatever their circumstances were before coming to class, it just never allowed them to have dance in their life. And when they kind of clued in that all of them were brand new, they were like, oh, okay, so we can kind of, you know, goof off together, you know, and just...
It's safe.
It's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's with the whole entire studio too, from like an 8-year-old who's never danced to a 13-year-old to an adult. Like we create a safe, inclusive environment where no one is being made fun of or should feel like they're embarrassed. You know, that's why we're here. We're here to teach them, right? They already made the step to come to learn. So I usually see with like new students, their anxieties kind of fade away after about a month or two of actually committing to the class, and then they can also see their own improvement as well, you know?
What causes some of those adults to give it a try for the first time?
Yeah.
It's probably such a thing, and I'm trying to put myself in those shoes. If it was something that I was passionate about learning or wanted to understand better, or maybe I had an outcome in mind that I was trying to achieve, be a better dancer, I guess.
Yeah.
What is it that causes those adults that usually find that they're seeking? What are they trying to do?
You know what? That's an interesting question too, because first of all, it takes a lot of courage as an adult who's never danced before to actually sign up and show up to class.
Yeah.
It really does. And I feel that again, I'm just generalizing, but the majority of them, especially if they're in their like kind of early to mid, even late 20s, that they never did it as a kid and really wanted to, you know, so they're fulfilling a childhood dream, you know. I've always seen even adults who are into like their 40s and 50s and stuff, like maybe they did 1 or 2 classes as a kid and always really loved it, and just, you know, also a lot has to do with timing in their own lives as well, you know?
So they're at a certain stage in their life where maybe they freed up time, or they're changed maybe a perspective in where they are. And I recognize now as I'm in my 40s, I start thinking to myself, my wife and I, I'm going to say I ran a marathon. I didn't run a marathon, my wife did, but I ran a half marathon. But I had this thought process when I was signing up for it, where I don't have unlimited time to learn these things I've always been interested in, or always wanted to try, or wanted to accomplish, and you know, hang on the wall of you know, the wall of daring that I did this for myself.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's probably a lot of people that feel that not only the gratitude, but also that sense of accomplishment. When
also a bit of a sense of urgency as well. You know, especially too because, you know, we're all aging, and it does get a little bit more difficult to move around and stuff. So I think a lot of people are also realizing that too, and thinking like, well, I have this time right now. I maybe have the financial ability to do it right now, you know, or I know a friend who's doing it. Maybe I can go with a buddy or something, you know. But it does take a lot of courage to just make that commitment before even stepping into the studio, you know. So I really respect that, and that's why my adult students are my favorites, you know?
Yeah, well, it's great. And the first step is really just almost a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Go check it out. Go experience it. Go see it. Like, and I love that the people are matched so they can feel comfortable knowing, hey, we're all gonna look a little goofy today.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yeah, and that's why we also do free trial weeks as well. So anyone can come try a class within our first week of the season for free, and to see if they like it or not too.
Well, I'm curious too, like what would you say to somebody that is listening to this and they're thinking, I've always been interested in this, but I'm a little shy, or I'm a little, you know, you know, I'm going to guess they have the time maybe, but like, what would you say to them? How would you?
I would just say, just come try. Yeah, just try it. If you never want to do it ever again, that's fine. At least you did it. Yeah. You know, at least you can say, yeah, I've done a dance class. You know, it's just doing one class is such a sense of accomplishment, because you are exercising, you're moving your body, you're getting a sweat on, like it's really good for you. Yeah. You know, I mean, how many studies out there now about how exercise is so good for your mental health too?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Yeah. And you know, working together with the team, the movement of actually just doing that sort of stuff. Do you find that a lot of people get involved for the mental health aspect on it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. I find too, especially in the teenagers, like the teenage age ranges, you know, whether they have, you know, mental health issues or they're just having a tough time in general, XBa has always been that safe haven. You know, we've had people of all genders and all sexual orientations come into our studio and feel like they're home. And it's a very safe and inclusionary space. And, you know, it's time away from whatever else is going on in their life. You know, I tell all my students, you know, leave your day at the door when you come in here, because I have you for 60, 90 minutes, give or take, and just focus on being present and being here, you know. And my biggest sense of accomplishment is if a student walks in with a frown on their face but leaves with a smile. Like, I know it sounds really corny, but that means that, like, okay, the whole class changed their outlook on their day for 90 minutes.
Well, that's a pretty special thing. You know,
Yeah.
I love the idea of that safe space. It's almost there's a very famous coffee chain that we don't need to put the name of it in this video,
Yes.
but there's a very famous coffee chain that built their entire empire on one of the philosophies anyway, was being that third place.
Yes,
right? So
exactly.
you've got work, you've got home. But
This is your third place.
This is your third place. This
Yeah.
is your in between where you can come and you can see your friends and feel safe to
Yeah.
express yourself and get some activity in and clear
Yeah.
your brain. And that's such a special thing.
It is.
Was that something that evolved over time, or was that always
Yeah.
that was in the vision to create?
No, it totally came naturally, you know? It really helped that my mom kind of became a second mom to a lot of her students, you know? She became that third space that they could go and talk to her, you know, if they couldn't talk to their parents or teachers or anyone else in their life, you know? And that happened organically. It wasn't anything that we had set out to do. My mom was hired to do a job. And then she eventually said, hey, I can actually do my own thing and, you know, do this. And we teach dance. That's at the bare bones. We teach people how to dance. But over time, it definitely evolved into this, we call it like the dance family, you know?
Yeah.
If you have, like, if any kid, any adult is having these unreleased emotions, whether it's joy or depression or, you know, both ends of the spectrum there, getting it out through physical movement, especially a movement that involves emotions like dance, it's so cathartic and therapeutic too.
I imagine it
and
would be,
it's
yeah.
just, it's such a full body release, you know?
Yeah.
Like people can go to their therapist, which is amazing, and talk it out. But there's one thing being able to process your emotions while moving physically at the same time, you know, especially if you like happen to connect with the song that's playing in class, you know. I do a lot of like free movement, improvised movement as part of my contemporary training to allow the dancers to take what they've learned and now apply it to them, their bodies, how they move and how they want to express themselves.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And that goes back to the art form piece of it. I was thinking sport because of all the good activity and the benefits of that activity. But art, I mean, that really ties back into that art piece as well, and being able to express yourself. And there's lots of dance that expresses excitement or success or sadness or, you know, emotion or anger.
Like, It's a very healthy way to express emotions.
Yeah, I never really thought about the expressing of your body like that. It's almost kind of like I know with kids, my wife had this practice with our kids. You know, kids hit sometimes, right?
Yes.
So you're like, hey, we don't hit people, but if you want to go hit the pillow, go hit the pillow and get it out. Just get get that out, right?
Exactly.
Get that out of your body. And I never kind of made that connection to how you can do that through an art form like dance.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you hear from people that have been students of yours? What are some of the comments that come to mind?
I've actually was just talking to my friend about this, but she was saying that, you know, she misses it so much, not so much for the actual dance training, but for the team, for her friends, for the community that we made. You know, it's really all about that. I hear all the time that we are so needed in the community still, which is very nice and very reassuring that we're still doing good. But it's just that it's, you know, people remember, oh, we did this move in this dance, or we did a dance to this song, which is so fun and so great. But like at the core of it, they remember the relationships they built there, you know, and have sometimes taken with them on to like later stages in their life and stuff, you know. I like to say we make good people, not just good dancers, you know. We make well-rounded individuals. Yeah.
Well, and you're one of the OG dance studios in South Surrey, White Rock.
Yeah.
Has being located in this community, has that influenced the way that the business shows up every day for the people it teaches?
Absolutely. Like if we hadn't moved here, we moved here in 1999, and you know, my mom she wasn't working at the time. She was taking care of me and my brother. My dad was in banking and stuff, and that was the arrangement. And you know, when we came over here, my mom was kind of like, okay, like kids are going into school soon, like just trying to figure out like what if she wanted to do anything, and this opportunity came to her. You know, she never set out to say, I am going to open a dance studio.
Sure.
That was never her career plan, my 10-year plan.
I'm always curious about that. It's so fascinating how people get into their careers. I'm in residential real estate.
Yes.
Did I wake up as a 10-year-old and go, I'm going to be a real estate professional
Exactly.
one day, right?
Yes. Yeah. When I was 10, I was going to be a vampire princess witch.
There you go.
It literally came to her doorstep.
Yeah.
And she thought, so, had we not moved here, I don't know if this ever would have happened. I don't know if we would be here having this conversation right now, So it was literally because of my dad's work. So thanks, Dad. But no, when we came here, there were very few dance studios. Some of them aren't even around anymore. And it was just an opportunity, and she chose to walk through that door. And so the community has been obviously so supportive. We've been here for 26 years in operation.
Wow. Well, and for something like that, I mean, that just obviously speaks volumes about what you do there and how you're helping people in the community for whatever reasons they're showing up for, because everyone's got their own reasons. But to be there for 26 years in the community and to have a thriving business, which is, as we started out talking, as an elective activity, that's incredible.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I know you've done such amazing things for the people that have been through those doors. Again, for the variety of reasons we talked about. There's someone listening to this right now, and they're thinking, I feel like they're talking to me. They're like, this could work. This whether it's for their kids or for them to go out and make community, get some exercise for mental health reasons, to get flexible. There's a million great reasons for it. How do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I'm very easily reachable. I have got a really good website. We're on Instagram, and you can call me pretty much anytime. I'm a small business owner. I like to say I have hours, but if the phone rings, I'll pick it up. But it's just, and we're also having a free trial week during our first week of the season. So it's September 14th to 17th, and pretty much most of the classes will be open to anyone who wants to come try.
That's amazing. And I'm assuming people can go on the website at any time and see what kind of offerings are out there.
Yep, and you register right on the website through there. You just got to scroll down on the page and fill out the form, and I will be in touch. I'm very fast on email.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, I really want to appreciate you for being on the Best of White Rock. I know the reputation. I haven't been through the doors of XBa, unfortunately, and I probably could use it because I'm the most inflexible. But I know the reputation around the community and the things you've done for the people in the community have been, very well regarded, and you've got a very good reputation around South Surrey and White Rock. So I really want to appreciate you for being on the show, and encourage anybody that's considering, whether it's for their kids or for themselves, to reach out and give it a try.
Yes, please, just come try. That's all we ask.
Yeah.
That's it.
Amadea, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.